Hi, I'm Daniel. This is the TriathlonDan YouTube channel, and I've been riding bikes for about 10 or 11 years now. And throughout that time, I've been fit, not fit, somewhere in between, and I'm pretty much somewhere in between right now. During that time, I have tried pretty much every training methodology there is: periodize, reverse periodize, pyramidal, followed training plans, been coached, not being coached, all of the above. I've tried it all, and now I've set my own plan for this winter. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about what my plan is, why I've chosen it, and why it probably isn't the plan for you, but you should be thinking that anyway because I'm just a YouTuber, so don't listen to what I've got to say. Okay, first things first, you're not allowed to talk about anything that's there. It's on the to-do list, okay? Liz, if you're watching, I'm on it. I'll do it at some point in the next year. Right, so in the UK at the minute, the time of recording is mid-November. We are just about to go into our winter, yay. And that means a lot more time on the indoor trainer. So a lot more time stuck in front of a screen. However, I'm trying to draw the positives from this, and there are quite a few positives in terms of training. You can be really focused with your efforts. You can train exactly how you want to. You're not riding with other people, perhaps too hard or too easy. You can stick to exactly what you want to do, which is good, providing you know what you want to do. Now, I've given this a lot of thought, and as I've said, I've done pretty much like everything in the past, some with success and some with not. And what I've settled on is this. I'm going to be following a standard periodized plan. I say standard because that's probably one of the most like stereotypical training plans. And what this means is that you go through different training blocks. So I'm starting with like a tempo and sweet spot block. This will last 4 or 5 weeks. Then I'll go on to strength, and then further down the line we'll do some VO2 max and so on. And this is different to what I've done in the past. In the past, I've often done reversed periodization, but there's quite a few reasons why I don't think I'm able to do that this year. So I'm going to get this workout going and we'll talk about it. All right, so my plan is driven from my goals, my objectives. What do I want to do? And then sort of work backwards from there. You know, what do I think I need to do in order to get me there? I'm out of breath already. I've just started riding with Dan McParland and I've lasted 5 seconds and he's dropped me. Cheers to ride, Dan. Good ride. Right, so my goals for this winter are as such: lose weight. I've put on a lot of weight this year, got some serious weight to lose, so I need to drop some weight. That will help me out in all the goals I've got, whether it's swimming, cycling or running, whether it's a sprint distance triathlon, whether it's an Ironman, whether it's whatever. Being a bit lighter will help me out. I need to fit in the kit for a starters. Secondly, I want to be fit. I want to be able to do lots of things. I want to be able to have fun with my friends. I want to be able to do events and races and training, and then not put me on my backside for days and days at a time. So therefore, getting in good shape is again going to help me with those things. Now, I'm an amateur athlete. I have no aspirations of being any more than that. Impossible for me anyway, probably, but I'm not looking for the 1%. I'm looking for the 90%. I'm looking to do pretty much the right training, get most of the way to perfect or as good as I can be, and that's it, that's good enough. I'm not killing myself day in, day out for the tiny little gains and looking for those little marginal training effects and so on. It's just not how I view sport. I do it for the fun, and provided I get in good enough shape to enjoy it, that's pretty much it for me. I still give racing my all. Sure, I want to win races, but I'm not killing myself to do that. So therefore, the most important thing for me this winter, above all, is consistency, both in my diet, in my training, health, and so on. So I'm trying to stay illness-free, I'm trying to stay injury-free, and I'm trying to do quite a bit of training. Now, the majority of weight loss is done in the kitchen. It's not done training. However, having a good amount of calorie expenditure every day is going to stand me in a lot better stead to be in a calorie deficit. So therefore, doing a fair bit of training, burning some energy, is helping towards that. Now, volume is important for me with that in mind. If I was to do really short, hard interval sessions, I know your body burns calories at other times as well, but the actual burn or training effect from that session isn't that big with that goal in mind. So tonight, for example, I could perhaps do a 45-minute or 1 hour interval session. Might be really hard, and I get that done. And that might be 700 calories, but if I can do an hour and a half, even at zone 2, it's like 1500. So I've got that in mind, but I still just need to work towards an actual plan, so I'm not just churning around loads of junk bars. So at my current body weight, I'm really finding running having a big effect on me. Actually doing it in the first place, the impact of it, the recovery from it, it's taking a lot out of me. in a triathlon, the run's really important, especially for the sorts of events I think I'm going to end up doing next year, long, hilly triathlons. I need to be able to run efficiently, and therefore doing quite a bit of running is going to stand me in good stead for that. So I'm trying to run 5 days a week, maybe even 6 days a week. Nothing too crazy initially, but definitely like 1 interval session per week. What that means is I need to be as fresh as I can be to do that running, and also that running is going to mean that I can't be doing really hard interval work on the bike initially because I'm just not fit enough. I'll be failing sessions. I know that'll be bad for my morale, bad for motivation, and I certainly know that when I have a bad training session, I then probably have a bad meal afterwards as well, and so on and so forth. So maybe that's just part of my natural habit, but that's what I've found. So therefore, the more manageable training I can do, I think that's going to be better for me in the long term, and definitely over this winter. So I've put myself together a bit of a 16-week plan. Weeks 1 to 6 is going to be a base phase where I'm going to be working on aerobic stuff. Sweet spot, tempo, threshold, nothing really any harder than that. And as much volume as I can handle really, which in the winter is probably 8 to 10 hours of cycling a week. After that, a build phase, 7 to 12 weeks. So between week 7 and 12, so 5-6 weeks in total. Again, some more threshold FTP work, maybe a little bit over that. And then towards the end, incorporate a bit more VO2 max, a bit more high intensity stuff. But how that works for me practically is my base and build phase is going to take me to February, and then locally to me there's quite a lot of crit races in March, reliability rides and so on. So what I'm doing really is setting myself up to then do that intensity on the road in the events, hopefully benefit then from a full periodized plan, and they come into spring having done a plan and be in some sort of there's a catwalk on my feet so I'm looking down, be in some sort of shape where I can be in some sort of good bike form. Training is difficult, but training hard is difficult, and I much rather do my hard cycling in group rides, in races, other events, those sorts of things, because it just happens so much easier. It's also a really good barometer for me as to, how am I performing against my peers? Am I still dropped? Am I holding on to so-and-so for a bit longer? All those sorts of things. So for the next few weeks, I'm only focusing on the week or two ahead of me at a time, not getting too bogged down in the detail longer term, but yeah, just trying to get some good volume in. And this week, for example, looks like this. Today's Monday. I'm going to try and do an hour and a half. I'm going to do an hour and a half with 2 times 10 minutes at tempo, which is between 280 and 295 watts for me. Wednesday is going to be the same, except instead of tempo, I'm going to do 2 times 10 minutes at sweet spot, which is maybe 310 at 20. And then Friday is similar to today's session, just 2 short tempo intervals. And then hopefully a couple of hours on the bike at the weekend in zone 2. And if I can do another ride this week, just do an easy ride, zone 2. That's what I'll do. And that's what it looks like. It doesn't need to be too complicated. It doesn't need to be fancy. I just need to keep ticking the consistent sessions off and building this sort of, bike fitness. It does translate to the running, it does translate to the swimming, but I just can't do it all at the same time and improve in all areas. So I'm just spinning plates. You've probably been able to tell, I'm not a coach, I don't have a sports science background, I'm just, I guess, experienced in my own body. So, do you know, if you think, oh, this really works for me, or this doesn't work for me, nobody knows your body better than you. Of course, use other people to sense check things. Like, I definitely talk to people who know more about training than me, but I'll always have that call about what's right for me in my situation. If I present, and I know already, some of you might be thinking, oh, I don't think that's best, Alan, you should be doing this. Maybe you're right, but if I'm fully convinced what I'm doing is correct, I'm going to do it. And if the other side of that is following something that you don't fully believe in, and therefore you're missing sessions or you're not giving it your all, I still think doing what you think is the right thing to do. And of course, time will tell. So I'm going to continue to document my training on this channel. I'll share the sessions, etc. The Strava links in the description down below. I'll put all my training on there, all the data. So if you're interested, please do feel free to follow along on there. Let me know how your training's going for this winter. Have you thought about doing something different, a different style, or are you coached? Does that work for you? I definitely want to bring back the Send It squad we had on this channel a couple of years ago, but I've just had to prioritise this winter to just get on top of my own stuff, and then I'll bring that back next year. So yeah, think that's it. I need to get a session done, so thank you very much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Come on, 2025 is coming.